the hippo song. It's about the hippopotamus, the most dangerous land animal in the world. Hippopotamus, hippopotamus. I like swimming, but I'm dangerous. If you get too close to me, I might just bite your feet. Oh, hippopotamus, 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 I'm a hippopotamus.
Welcome back to Marveled Media Podcast, where we talk about all things media, especially Marvel. I'm Blake, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Alex and Josh.
And welcome to episode 11 of Marvel Talk. Today we'll be discussing episode 4 of Moon Knight, which is currently available to stream on Disney+. So if you haven't done so already, please make sure to go watch it before you watch this video, as it will contain spoilers from the episode.
All right, to start off, this episode fucking sucked.
Stop the cap.
Busting out the bottom. I'ma lose my money in it. Crazy never doing the obligado.
We both know
That's all I have
lying.
to say. Yeah, no, it was fucking great. I think the best part, honestly, besides the ending, was, in my opinion, Layla was pretty fire in this episode. I think her character just keeps becoming more interesting the more we learn about her. And obviously she had the great interaction with Mr. Hawke himself, so obviously this episode was fucking fantastic. What do you guys think?
Oh, of course.
Dude, it's
I mean,
fun.
who doesn't love it? It's so good. Moon Knight is easily, as long as they, stick the landing, which I'm sure they will. By far, this is better than WandaVision if they do the ending right. Making it the best one, obviously, of the Disney Plus shows. Yeah, this episode, I mean, it was fun in the beginning. It was like a little adventure, Indiana Jones type feel, and obviously we saw at the end that's because it's kind of based around an Indiana Jones knockoff. But yeah, like you said, Layla, I thought in this episode was phenomenal. Of course, Marc and Steven's interactions in this were even better. Like when, obviously Marc was talking about like, oh, you think you love her, just so you know, if you even touch her, I will kill us. And then obviously after the whole awkward kiss situation, which was hilarious, Marc punches them in the face. Yeah, I mean, like you said, Layla was great. Marc/Steven was great. Again, Arthur Harrow was just doing his thing, being creepy, and Ethan Hawke's killing that role. But yeah, I once again love the episode.
Yeah, and it really puts everything in perspective. Like, what is real and what's going on here? Like, you start to question yourself, especially once you get into that purgatory where he's in that mental hospital state area there. And yeah, I don't know, it makes you kind of rethink and kind of want to rewatch the other episodes. Like, what the fuck did I miss? Because it's like you just see the painting of the Switzerland Alps
There's just everything
in his office. Yeah,
there's just
and
everything is there. It's unreal.
Donna's there. The street performer is there too, not painted. He's the one calling out the bingo
People who arrested him. It's insane. I think this is probably the biggest, what the fuck ending since Infinity War.
Yeah.
And probably the second most of Marvel of all
way.
time. I think this is better than any cliffhanger that we've had of the previous shows and movies and stuff. I think this is and this is just the episode, this isn't the series. But I think at the end of this, I think everyone's like, what just happened? Wait, and it just makes you rethink so much that I think this is the biggest one since Infinity War.
Yeah, I loved also the little details they put in every bit in that final scene of you just
Right.
slowly realizing, wait a minute, that person's that, you're just reliving the Hollywood, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood meme, just keep pointing at it saying, oh wait, that's that. So yeah, I definitely agree.
It was crazy. I don't know, I feel like obviously that end scene is the biggest takeaway, and so I thought maybe we dive into that a little bit later. So I just wanted to know if you guys, what were your kind of thoughts before we hit that scene? What were your guys' thoughts up to that point of the episode, and then we'll dive into that ending a little bit here.
I definitely, like I said earlier, I thought, just kept building up Layla as a character. The fact that in our previous episode we were talking about, oh, will she actually fall for Steven or what's going on with that? And then she actually goes and kisses him. I'm like, okay, what a gal, you know? What a gal.
She tried to kiss Steven.
Yeah. And then, So, and then, Marc then punching him, and then he falls down too, which I think was because of Marc. But yeah, I mean, that whole interaction was funny, a little adventure going on. And then it became real towards the middle. And, you thought that was kind of like the climax of the episode, was the fact that, she learns kind of the truth about Marc. And then, Marc and Steven both get shot right there. And you're like, okay, this is the big moment. And then he just wakes up, obviously, into that purgatory. But no, I don't know. I just thought it was great. I thought Marc was fantastic in it, and Steven was great. It definitely was more of a Steven episode, with the fact of him kind of really using his brains in the whole moment, and him just kind of having just so much fun, But also, it was kind of terrifying with that one scene where the monster was, where like Steven had to fight off the monster, and he like kicked off the table to kind of like try to stop it. Like, that whole scene was terrifying. And then when it grabbed Layla. So I don't. There's just so many mixes. Like, it was a full roller coaster this episode. You got everything.
Yeah, it was like that like mummified priest thing that was like chopping up that one guy. I was like, damn. Like, you didn't see too much of it, but you heard it, and it was like kind of gross. It's like, damn. Okay, so they're gonna go this route. And then they had like a little bit of a horror element there, like in the middle, when she's like kind of like crossing that gap there, and she almost falls, and then you can kind of see like when it was gonna pop out, but there was just so much like dark spots along that like little trail, like you didn't actually know when. Yeah, you didn't actually know when it was gonna pop out, and the fact that it kind of went with that trope where she like, it grabs her, but normally it cuts to a next scene. It held on that spot. She came back out again, was dragged back in. And then she was fighting that thing, and it was pretty much like a classic, oh, Marc or Steven is going to come up and, save her. But that didn't happen. She actually ended up saving herself, which was kind of a different way to, to show that she's actually, capable on her own. She usually, in scenes like that, there's always going to be like, oh, then my friend who's a guy is going to come in and help me at the last second. But that wasn't the case, which actually was fine. Yeah, it was actually executed well. It wasn't like a forced thing. Like, it feels right.
And then we have Arthur come out of nowhere, and he starts talking to Layla, and he tells her like, oh, he was Marc was there when your dad died. And then you had that whole interaction of them, of him being like, my partner got greedy, which obviously we've yet to learn who this partner is. It could be, like I said earlier, it might have been Arthur Harrow. It could be that Duchamp, Duchamp, however you pronounce it, which was the only other name in that phone that Steven found in like episode 1 or 2. It was all Layla, and then there's just one Duchamp. So I don't know, maybe we'll find out about that. But yeah, and then obviously they find Alexander the Great's tomb, which was pretty wild. That was kind of not where I was expecting. What that's not what I thought we'd be finding. But yeah, no, like you said, I just liked how it was a roller coaster. It was like adventurous. Obviously, it had its like funnier, not forced moments. It had kind of like that horror, creepy. But yeah, I mean, there's just not too much to say other than I absolutely loved the episode and the tone and everything of it.
Yeah, the fact that if you took that ending whole scene out and it still would have been a fantastic episode 4 is kind of like the big point to take from this. Was the whole episode was just great to fill. And also it was only 45 minutes or 50 minutes? I don't think it was
50, I think.
It was 50? Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even technically like a full hour, so it wasn't like it was a crazy long episode. So the pacing was fantastic in my opinion for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I didn't actually see like the whole Ethan Hawke's character was going to shoot him. I thought it was going to be like one of the mercenaries going to shoot him, because I'm like,
he just whips it out.
That doesn't seem like something he would do, especially when he's like, he doesn't take life like just because he actually uses the scales and the scales decide. But I don't know, it's weird that he would be the one to shoot him. And I'm like, oh, and he shot him twice. I'm like, damn, like, wow. I thought that's what was gonna end.
Yeah, it was like, because I mean, the whole series has been alluding that Harrow's just is a lot crazier than he's portraying himself as. You know, he's got that demon side within him. I mean, in the previous episode, I mean, he talked about the fact that how he was excited about the killings he did for when he was the previous Avatar. But then you just see him whip it out and just shoot him, and like, you know, he was like almost excited to kill him finally, to just put him down. And then you're kind of starting to slowly see finally the reveal of this true character of who he is. And he's not just this good guy that's just trying to on this journey, you know. He's actually just some fucking maniac.
Yeah,
Which,
I think he's just like.
I liked how Marc grabbed the like axe from Alexander the Great's, or hatchet, I guess, from his tomb, and it was like, just go. And then he was like, oh, come on. And then he saw those people. And I just also liked how he decided he killed, he more than likely killed probably 3 or 4 of them beforehand. For some reason, I just like that they stuck true to the character. Like, I feel like that could have been a very easy moment for them not to like want to show violence or anything, just to have him like give up. But like, I just like how they stayed true to Marc's character of like, Marc is supposed to be this badass who will just fight everything and doesn't care. And, you know, in his mind, you know, he almost in a way still has that Khonshu power. He's like, I don't care that there's all these guys with their guns on me. Like, I'm going to take out a few of you before you get me. And then obviously, like you said, Arthur not only shoots him once in the chest, but then another one. And then he just falls back. And then obviously we get the crazy scene of him in this mental asylum type thing with all the connections of the people and the drawings and all that stuff. Which, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on that? What are we looking at?
I mean, at first I was obviously lost, as I think most people were. You know, you kind of slowly were gathering what is going on. But once I saw that Marc was in a separate body, then that's when I thought, like, okay, everything that actually has happened, in my opinion, it was real. And this place that he's in right now is just fake. And it's kind of just leading to how he's going to basically get revived, especially with the ending with, you know, the hippo coming out and introducing themselves. But yeah, so at first I was like, no way are they doing this spin where everything was fake. Because I mean, every single detail they were emphasizing. I mean, even before, you know how we were talking about that horror aspect, that guy on the table that was just getting ripped apart is shown later in that scene. And because they were like emphasizing his face, and I thought it was weird that they kept showing this dude's face and making such a big deal of us seeing him. Instead
it's the same cop that arrested him in one of the first episodes.
Instead of like doing what typically Marvel does, you know, to keep that rating down, of kind of like avoiding actually seeing the person fully, but they emphasize his face. And then obviously then we see him later again in this new scene in this weird like fake death cell thing going on, you know. But yeah, I think especially when the hippo came out, and also when I saw Marc, that's when my realization of like, okay, this is just all fake basically right now. He's in some weird death brain cell going on, and it's just taking his memories and implementing them to where he's at. So
yeah,
that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, because when he was running away from the guards, he went into that room and he heard Steven, you know, on the coffin. He opens it and he asks him like, what does he like remember last? And then when he tells him exactly what he was thinking, he wasn't 100% sure, but he's like, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened. Yeah. And then so you're like, okay, so then that means that it did happen. It's just that he's kind of now in this like state of living / not living. He's kind of in that little in between area there. And of course you get a glimpse at there possibly, well, there's definitely a third altar that's just banging. He's not even saying anything. He's just banging on the coffin door. Like, damn. Yeah, it's like
just ignored.
You almost don't want to open that one. Yeah, they both look at it and they're like, yeah, no, fuck that. We're not gonna open that one.
Let Jake free my man. He did nothing wrong.
That is one thing I was surprised from this episode is, I mean, I think we all three in the previous review were like, okay, we're going to see Jake probably in this episode because, you know, we're leading to where they're going to have the big conflict and the big changing, the conflict's what's going to change the outcome for the rest of the series. And we still didn't get any Jake at any moment.
Right.
So I was a bit surprised by that.
Yeah, when it first started and we were like going around the room, I kind of like seeing everything I was kind of thinking like, okay, maybe this is they're trying to do like the because in the comics there's one where they lock up Steven / Mark, and Anubis is the one behind it, and they basically just put him in mental like institution, basically just try to make him think he's even crazier, so like he doesn't realize everything that's going on. So it's kind of thought what I was thinking happened. I was like, oh, maybe he didn't die from those shots, and so because of that, they're just going to try to like sedate him and just make him feel. And then obviously he opens up the sarcophagus and he sees the other one, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is definitely not that kind of route that they're going. Personally, I think he died. He actually did die, and he's basically in hell right now. And it's like his own personal hell. Obviously, what would be the worst thing to him is him thinking, you know, he had this battle with his DID, and he's in this mental institution. And that's when I think we see the hippo, who is the goddess. I was trying to look up her name so I don't butcher the pronunciation.
I think it's like Tauret or something like that.
Taurate, something like that.
It's
and
Tauret, I believe.
Tauret, okay. And she's like the goddess of like fertility and love, but she's also the goddess of like protection and stuff. So I think that Mark Steven, he's dead. And I think that this is basically what happened with him and Khonshu, is that this is a different goddess that is going to offer him the chance to be resurrected and be like her avatar in a way. And maybe somehow we see like, you know, a backstory of how Khonshu and how this happened with Mark and Khonshu in the next episode. And this is a similar thing. And maybe she was also put in one of those little Emmy things. I forgot what they call them, you know, when you get stoned.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if she also got banished and somehow she talked to Khonshu. And Khonshu was like, hey, there's this guy. Make him your avatar. He can kind of help us be free from this. And that's how he'll get resurrected with, you know, not the Moon Knight power, but then he'll try to find Khonshu and get Khonshu's power again. But yeah, my personal thoughts is he's dead, and this is basically like his own personal hell right now.
Which would make sense.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Because there's just so much that just doesn't make sense in it. That it's like, this has to be. Because like, when they were calling out fake bingo numbers, even.
Yeah.
Like shit like that. And like, obviously if this was a mental place, like inside Arthur's, you know, his office, there's just so many random sharp objects hanging around. It was like, okay, in a real mental, you know, institution, you don't just have freely sharp objects that someone could grab. So that's why I was like, this is his own personal hell. He's dead, is my guess.
Yeah. And again, I want to say this because it's like, dude, Oscar Isaac is killing it. Like everybody in the cast is killing it. It's insane. Like, I think her name is May. I don't know. I forget her last name, but she's the one who plays Layla. She's great. Ethan Hawke, obviously, he's killing it. Even when he had to portray like a slightly different Arthur Harrow, you know, like a
creepier one in a way.
Yeah, creepier one there. Yeah, even had like the stash and
the
like,
stash.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that was creepy. But yeah, no, dude, it was definitely the weirdest episode. Like, I didn't think it'd get any weirder, but it did. It was like, what the fuck is going on here? It's like, it's a blend of so much shit. It's like you said earlier, Indiana Jones. You get like, you know, Tomb Raider, and then we go into this like weird fucking psychic mental realm that he's in right now in his own personal hell. It's like, damn. I honestly thought the episode was gonna end like, you know how most episodes end, probably like as soon as Harrow shot him. He was falling back. I thought it was going to end because I mean, I felt like that'd be like the way to end that episode. But
right,
I'm like, no, wait, hold on. And we got this weird like spin-off parody Indiana Jones thing where he would even name and drop Stephen Grant. I'm like, wait, what the fuck's going on here? Yeah, dude,
they're called Ashoftes, by the way. That just randomly came to my head. I think it's like the Ashofte or Shofte. It's the little statue things.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was funny when he grabbed it out of his throat.
Alexander
and
the Great
comes in, and he was like, and the Shofte goes to us. We found it. Like, I just thought that was like a funny little presentating, like an Emmy type moment thing.
Yeah. And she's like, can you hear me? He's like, oh no, I sure hope not. Like, no, Mark. Like, oh.
Yeah, and then like she yelled at him, and then Steven was just like, I'm a bounce. Yeah, Mark, you can deal with this right now.
Like Steven basically, he tried to help you out earlier by telling her the truth, and then Steve's like, all right, this one's on you, my guy.
Yeah,
this isn't my battle.
Yeah, you have fun with this one. She seems really upset right now.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, this is
just good.
Definitely the brotherly bond was growing between the two, Mark and Steven, as they, were obviously beefing earlier. And then when Steven was kind of being like the homie and telling Layla the truth to kind of help out, because he knows, like they're married and the whole relationship issues. So he's kind of trying to help there. But also, I really liked when Mark got shot. You could just see in his face that like this man finally lost a battle. But now, not only did he lose himself, but he got Steven killed. I felt like you kind of could see that through his face, that it was kind of stunned that this actually happened. He lost, he died, and he also caused Steven to die.
Which makes sense, because when he sees him, he's like Steven, and like he hugs him, because he's like, oh no, you're not dead, you're here with me. So it's like, so it was
my man Jake. Jake deserved to get in that group hug. It should have been like Spider-Man, a 3-way hug, not a 2-way hug. Free Jake, he did nothing wrong.
I don't know about that, but
he killed a couple people, but what's that? Maybe a couple life sentence or two. So I don't know. Like I said, this episode, the ending was just crazy. I'm so excited for the next one. Personally, I think this next one is pretty much just gonna be like flashbacks and kind of getting him back to life.
What's funny? We keep saying that. Like almost after every episode, we think, okay, this next one's when the flashback, because it needs this character development of showing Mark, because there's so much we're missing, and then it just keeps getting pushed off, and we're just kind of getting little teasers here.
This one has to be though, right? There's no way the last one is all gonna have the flashbacks of him getting Khonshu's powers and all that, as well as our. Whatever the climax of the series.
You'd think, but think about this episode, though. It was only 50-ish minutes, and how much we got in it, and the pacing felt fantastic. So it didn't feel like
the last two might be around an hour or over.
If it follows the trends of like the previous shows, typically the last two are longer than normal.
Right.
So,
but I'm trying to think. I feel like when the series was being announced, I feel like I remember seeing something that said like, oh, the last 2 episodes of Moon Knight are a little over an hour or something like that. I could be wrong, but I don't know.
Also might be where end credits might happen too, because that's where they did with the previous shows, where it finally had some like end credit scenes after.
There's a chance this one doesn't, though, is the thing. Because they said this one isn't going to connect to the normal MCU.
Not like I'm going to cry about if it doesn't. Like, it's going to be great regardless.
I don't know. My personal thoughts is, like I said, I think this episode is basically going to be the goddess is kind of going to talk to him. They're going to talk about things. We're going to get a flashback of how Khonshu took over, how they met, and all that stuff, and basically just like go through the past and him becoming her avatar, that kind of thing. And then he comes back to life and he's just in that tomb. Well, everybody's already gone because it's been, how long, days, hours, weeks, who knows. That would be my guess of what this next episode is. I would hope we get some flashback to kind of get a little understanding of some stuff, but who knows?
It could be as simple as, maybe he doesn't have to become Tawret's avatar. Maybe he just makes it a deal with her that doesn't involve him having to become her avatar, and that way, he's free to, once Khonshu is, freed, to be his avatar again. Because I feel like if you do that, it'd be kind of weird to do like him being Tawret's avatar and then switching, and then like, okay, now I'm Khonshu's avatar. Unless they figure like a loophole, like say maybe Steven becomes her avatar and then Mark becomes Khonshu's. I don't know. They could go that route too.
But that's true. I don't know. I just think definitely excited to see where this episode picks up.
Yeah, it has to be a flashback.
Figure out what is going on. It's got to be a flashback.
We got to at least have one, and then, just a minute at least.
I just want to know what happened with Khonshu and Mark. That has to come up.
I think this episode, next one, definitely has the best chance. I mean, especially after the whole Layla learning the truth and confronting Marc over it. I mean, you gotta show it to us. But,
It definitely is this next one, 100%. I'm interested to see about the partner.
Oh,
If it is Duchamp.
Duchamp, yeah.
Killed everybody.
I think it would have to be him, right? Because you saw him call it. Wait, that makes no sense though. Unless the call was prior to the mission.
Yeah,
because it was in his call logs. It would have to be, because why would?
Like
he
I
call
said, I think there's a chance it could have been Arthur.
It could have been.
Know. Maybe it was even somebody else. It's not even connected to those two, because like they changed up the name of Layla, so maybe they're gonna change this origin story a little bit of who was the one that shot and killed everybody.
For sure. What would you rate this episode?
Like a 9.3.
I'd say a 9.4. Just a 0.1 up him.
I'll do a 9.5. I'll just tie it with my last one.
The original.
You guys are being way too big right now. 9.3 is perfect.
Any size?
No, because like if I remember correctly, I think I said 9.5 for the last one, so I was like, I think I gotta at least one or tie it or one up it. So I was like, I'll leave it as a 9.5 for now.
Oh, I have no idea what I've been ranked. For all I know, I've put everyone as like higher or lower. I'm just saying that's what I'm rating this episode.
I've literally done one higher, one lower than whatever Blake says, just to be a dick.
It's understandable. In overall, I think every episode it has gotten better, but my ranking, I don't know with the rankings. I'm just throwing out what I feel. All right, well, do you guys have any closing thoughts? All right, well, I guess that'll conclude this episode. Be on the lookout for next Tuesday's video coming out, as well as next Thursday we'll have our episode 5 of Moon Knight reaction. Be sure to follow along on our social media, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and leave a like on this. Write a comment down below. What your guys' thoughts is? Where is Steven/Marc? Has any of this happened? Are they dead? Are they in purgatory? It all made up in his head? Who knows? And we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.